Well, good morning, CSL. For those of you who I have not had the privilege of meeting in person yet, I'm Reverend Ben Jameson. It is my honor to serve as your associate minister here in this community where we have 7 core values that guide everything we do. Those 7 are love, healing, oneness, abundance, spiritual growth, service, and diversity. This week, we're focusing on service. It was just a few weeks ago that I was a recipient of a great act of service. I was on the 3rd day of a 3-day drive from Kansas City down here, and a few hours before I arrived, I got a text from Dr. Chris saying, "Hey, I'm stopping for Italian food. What can I bring you?" Really nice way to welcome, to serve, to say, welcome home, right? Really simple, kind thing to do. What I didn't know at the time, and what he didn't know at the time, is that the Airbnb that I was about to walk into was a wreck. The floors were filthy, there was a broken glass table, there was black mold in the air conditioner. To not have to worry about food when I was faced with that lifted a weight off of my shoulders that no Alfredo should be able to lift on its own, right? It's these little things that have such a big meaning when we don't know the circumstances of somebody else's life. That's why I'm so inspired that this community is stepping into service by giving our gala away to the service professionals, the frontline workers, the first responders who have sacrificed so much of their lives for us in the pandemic via Hats Off to Heroes. You know, if a dirty Airbnb and Italian takeout can have such an impact, imagine the years spent putting your life at risk and then getting to come to a beautifully catered meal with an open bar, with a band, with all of the love and supportive energy that we create here in this space. The gift we are giving in service has incalculable value. Of course, we can raise that value the more of us are able to connect in and bring our own energies. And so in order to do that, I'm going to be live hosting the entire event on Zoom for you. With those of you who choose to join in, will get to have backstage access behind the scenes as we get ready for the event. You'll see the entire program, including the awards and the band. We'll even do virtual tables so that you can create a feast of your own at home and be at a small table virtually with your CSL friends and family as if you were actually at the banquet. In doing so, we'll be able to bring that additional love and energy and support to these heroes who need it so much. Now, of course, Zoom has limitations, right? So this is going to be a ticketed thing, $100 per ticket. You can get those today, either at guest services or online. We look forward to connecting with all of you in service, to knowing that the love and the support that we provide here, the atmosphere of service that is so key to who we are, will uplift these heroes more than they could possibly imagine. Thank you for serving with me this week and in all the ways that you serve. Have a great Sunday.
Awesome. Good morning, CSL. And all you wonderful people out there watching us on Facebook Live or from wherever you're seeing us. Now, as your spiritual leader, it is my job to tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. But I'm not going to do that today because I don't feel like it. So today, I'm going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you 3 stories from my childhood, 1 that is a lie, and 2 that are true. And your job is to decide which one is which. Story number 1. Now, I told you that my mother married 5 times before she was 40 years old. You already know that. But what I didn't tell you is that one of her husbands was a mobster, a little bit of a gangster. And I know this because his bodyguard used to drive me to school every day in a long black sedan that was constantly parked outside our house. Story number 2. I was 15 years old when I lost my virginity. It was with my high school girlfriend, Lorna. We went away for a weekend together and stayed in a hotel. Now, how does a 15-year-old girl get out of the house for a weekend away from her parents? Well, Lorna happened to be a Girl Scout, and so she told her parents she was going on a jamboree. Story number 3. You know, I grew up in a small town in Kansas called Harper, Kansas. I also told you how desperate I was to get out of that little town. What I didn't tell you is that one day in 1970, when I was just 13 years old, I went out to the highway, the only highway that went through Harper, Kansas, which is State Road K44, and I put my thumb out and I hitchhiked. And some young hippie dude picked me up and drove me all the way to Wichita, Kansas, before my parents even knew I was gone. Now, later that day, I realized I didn't have any money, so I was going to have to go back. So I called up my parents, long distance at the time, and they had to come pick me up. Needless to say, they were not happy. So, my friends, which story is a lie? By a show of hands, and for those watching at home, you raise your hand too, how many of you think it's story number 1, did my mother really marry a gangster? You think that's a lie? Okay. How many of you think it's story number 2? Was Lorna my first, or do you think it's more likely it was a guy named John or Bob or Tyrone? You guys are a mess. Or do you think it's story number 3, did I really hitchhike to Wichita, Kansas when I was 13 years old? Some of you raising your hand there. Drum roll, please. It was story number 3. I never hitchhiked to Wichita, Kansas. That was a lie. The other 2 are true. My mother actually did marry a bit of a gangster, a mobster, and who knew that wouldn't work out? A short 9-month relationship, go figure, you know? I could have told her that. And it's true, Lorna was my first, wherever she is today. I'm sure she's long forgotten that awkward night. I'm very sorry, Lorna. Now the question is why? You know why did I take this journey through sex lies in Harper, Kansas? Because it's the path that you have to take all of the time. In the world we live in today, you are bombarded with information and misinformation, facts and propaganda, truth and lies. And so you have to practice discernment. You have to sort out through the scrap heap and determine what is true and what is not. And that, my friends, is getting harder and harder to do, especially with social media platforms that allow every voice to be heard with equal fervor, the constant liar and the truth bearer. Truth matters. Words matter. They ground nations in principle, like the Constitution of the United States. Words can inspire people to greatness. They can call us out into noble action, but words can also be harmful. And lies, and constant lies, can be a cancer that destroys us, eating away at the moral fiber of our nation. And that is why, now more than ever, it is important for you to be a bearer of truth, a super spreader of that which is good, goodness. So be careful not to share anything on social media or to talk to your friends and talk about anything that you have not fact-checked and made sure is absolutely true. Now, there are many stories of the creation of the universe. Every culture has its own story, from the ancient Mayans to the first Americans. But the one that we are most familiar with in Western culture is the one that comes from the Bible. And it comes from John chapter 1. And in John chapter 1, it says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." In this story of creation, God and the Word are inseparable, meaning that what you say and who you are one. So when you speak your word, you reveal yourself to others. You tell us who you are. By your words, you reveal your character. You show your wound. You speak your truth. Everything you believe comes out of your mouth and shows itself to everyone around you. Perhaps even more revealing in this story of creation is the other part of it, the part that begins in Genesis. In Genesis it says, "And God said, 'Let there be light,' and there was light. And God said, 'Let the dry land appear,' and the dry land appeared. And God said, let the earth bloom and blossom with fruit and tree, and it was so. And God said, and God said, and God said. Are you getting the theme here? So once the word is spoken, when it is spoken, creation immediately follows. Once it comes out of your mouth, you can't get it back. So be sure that what you're saying is true. Be sure that what you're talking about is something you actually want to come about in your life. Be sure that your words are healing, not harmful. Now, many of you might be familiar with the work of the world-renowned scientist Dr. Masaru Emoto. And if you're not, you can Google him. He's the guy that studied the effects of the word, the spoken word, on a simple glass of water. And he showed that beautiful crystals form in glasses of water when you say things to the glass of water like, I love you, you're beautiful. But just the opposite happens. The crystals are distorted and ill-formed if you say, all you do is just say to the glass of water, I hate you, you're ugly. And so the scientists went out into all the schools and had the children do the experiment together to teach them the importance of treating each other with kindness and compassion, and to make sure that what you're saying to each other is building people up, not putting them down. So I brought a short 1-minute video of a guy that's tried this same experience with rice. Check this out.
I have 3 cups of water. I'm going to tell one, thank you every day. And it's got rice in it. I'm going to tell one, I hate you, and I'm just going to ignore that one. And yeah, I used reverse osmosis water from Whole Foods, so there's nothing in the water extra. It's like organic rice, so it doesn't have any extra chemicals in it. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to take a video shot of these cups every day after saying that. Alright, so it's only been like 10 days or something like that, but I'm just going to take these out because they're starting to look gross. But the one I said thank you to, it's growing like some sort of yellow mold on it. The one I said I hate you to has got like some it's turning like blackish almost, like getting dark, and it's got like little green splotches, and it's not really, I don't know, kind of looks like death, you know. And then this one that I just ignored really didn't have too much of anything happen to it. So yeah, that's that. 10-day rice and water test.
And so the interesting thing is, if you continue this test, then what happens is the rice in the water that you said, I love you, or thank you, or some kind word begins to ferment into almost an alcohol. And the one that you said, I hate you, you're awful, I don't like you, will blacken and sour, and so will the one that's been ignored. It will also blacken and sour. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God said, in my image and likeness, I have made man. So you have been given full creative power, which you share with your Creator. To put it simply, you have the authority to speak your word and have it be so. Imagine, if you can do that to water and rice, imagine what the words are happening that you say about your body and to other people. Now, most people don't know this, but you do. And with this power comes a responsibility. You have a responsibility to use your power, your word, in a way that affirms and lifts up your own spirit and your own life. And you have a responsibility to others to do the same, to build them up and not put them down. You know, we've been on a program this whole month, this whole year, Spiritual Fitness. And in our book of the month, Spiritual Fitness, the author talks about the power of your word and how it impacts others. And she says, conversation is a game of energy tennis, Back and forth we go with our words, opinions, judgments, until we manage to build up between us a whirlwind of thought energy. Now, you know, this is not my first time at the rodeo. I have been in spiritual leadership for 3 decades. And as a figure on stage sharing my ideas publicly, I get to hear what other people think of me too. I do. And some of them comment on my looks, and some of them have opinions about my lessons, and some of them just say nothing. In fact, to be honest with you, most people do say nothing. They're the silent majority that value my work, my lessons, and love this community. And I've grown accustomed to all this, people talking about me, opining about me, a few of them even gossiping about me. Oh my goodness, did you hear that Dr. Chris is having an affair with his music director, Antonio? Not true. Not true. Now, I'm not one to gossip, but I heard that Dr. Chris is lying about his age. He's not really 63, he's 70. And you can't tell it because there's so much Botox and there's so much filler in his face. Also not true. Well, partly not true. I mean, I really am 63. Second only to lying, gossip is one of the most negative uses of your word, not to mention a total waste of your time and your energy. And here's the thing, what you say about others is a reflection of your own self, your own beliefs, your own worth. When you gossip and you say negative things about other people, you're telling the world you don't believe you're good enough. And not only that, when you're talking trash about other people, you're giving your power away. And honestly, I think that's why people do it. I really do. Because it's a whole lot easier to criticize someone who's following their dreams than it actually is to follow your own. You want to do something scary, follow your own dreams. It's a lot easier to put somebody down than it is to pick up your own power and go make something out of it. So you need to know, when I hire a new staff member, when a new board member comes in service to CSL, the first thing I do is I sit them down and I say, you need to know that I don't do triangular conversations. And that means if you're talking about me, you need to be talking to me. I'm not going to talk about you or gossip behind your back, so please don't do that to me. One of my all-time favorite first ladies is Eleanor Roosevelt, a woman way ahead of her time. And she said this, great minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events. Small minds discuss people. All of you are great-minded people. And that means you're clear on what you want in this life, and you know how to use your power to get it. You have an idea, you have a vision for the way you want to live, and so I'm asking all of you to take a challenge with me for 1 week. I don't want your energy drained to small-mindedness. I want the focus of your attention and your word to be about the good things you're creating. So let's create a pledge together for 1 week. Just till next Sunday, you're going to be able to do it. The pledge is this. For 1 week, I will not gossip or say negative things about other people. Say it with me. For 1 week, I will not gossip or say negative things about other people. Starting now. Starting now. Right now. In our spiritual fitness program, we're talking about minding your language. And minding your language isn't just about what you say about others. It's also what you say about yourself. You know, I think too many people script themselves in their language as victims. Constantly. We constantly do this by using 3 words that drain the energy and the power out of us. These 3 words are I hope, I wish, and I'll try. Now, I get it that hope is better than despair. It is certainly better to keep hope alive than to fall into a pit of despair. But that's about all hope is going to do for you, my friends. It's going to keep you afloat for a minute. But it's not enough to get you to your dreams. It is not creative enough to make them manifest. God, the creative power of the universe, did not say, I hope the light comes on. You know, I'm going to try to get some light down here. It's awfully dark. I sure wish somebody'd turn on the light. Look, I know we have all been convinced by the mediocrity of the masses to show up each day and just hope for the best. Nobody told us we could actually create the life we really want to live by speaking it into action. They said it's all about good luck or knowing the right people or maybe just being in the right place. But I'm going to tell you the truth. And the truth is, you are surrounded by an intelligence that is waiting for you to decide what you want. Waiting to go into action with all of the energy and all of the resources that an infinite power can use to manifest your dreams. But you've got to speak it. You've got to have the courage and the faith to say it out loud. I want to live well. I want to be in love. I want to live a rich, full, healthy life. I want to pursue my dreams with passion. I want to be a man or a woman of great character. I want to have the faith to move every single day toward my best idea. Dare to speak your word and watch what happens. Stop trying. Stop hoping. Stop wishing. These are acts of a victim consciousness, a passive observer of life, not a conscious creator. And as a co-creative partner with life, you can do so much better than hoping and wishing and trying. So let's review. What have I asked you to do? I've asked you to take a 1-week pledge to not gossip or say anything negative about other people. I've asked you not to lie, to be discerning of the information that you receive on the web or from anywhere else, and to not post anything that you don't know and you know is actually true. And I've asked you to give up hoping and wishing and trying. And how radical is that? Now you can say, I went to that church and they told me to give up hope. Give up hope. The new year gives us all a fresh new start. And I think by changing a few old habits and being mindful of your language, you can create a new life. You can make this so. Speak your word. I challenge you. Let's stick to it and make 2021 the best year ever. And so ends the lesson. In every dance, there's someone to lead and someone to follow. In your dance with spirit, in your dance with life, sometimes you get to lead and say, this is my best idea, I'm moving toward it. And sometimes you listen and you follow and ask, what is the best idea for me to pursue, Spirit? In our meditation time, this is our time to listen and to follow. Let's go within.
I breathe out, I breathe the stillness I find. Spirit meets me there. Spirit meets me there.
There is a place at the center of my heart that has never been wounded or harmed by anything said about me. Like an innocent child coming into the world, it is unknown that people can be hurtful. And so it gives its love generously without expectation of harm. This pure, innocent child that lives in you and lives in me is the truth of who we are. And though it may not have been treated well by the world, it is still intact. It is still pure. And in its purity, there is great power. There is a mind that creates universes and creates experiences and extensions of its own life and power. You are that life. You have been given the gift of creation and the freedom to choose how you want to live it. Make a choice. Follow a dream. Pursue the best idea for good. And the universe will respond by saying yes. No matter where you've been, no matter what's happened to you thus far in life, you are still greatly loved, and you still hold a magnificent power. That will never change about you. That is the truth of who you are. Feel its power. Let its love heal you. Let's be still for 1 minute. 1 minute. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. You are the light in the world, making your entrance boldly, courageously, coupled with a power that can manifest anything your mind can conceive. Feel that truth. Know its power. Take action. Do the thing you are slightly afraid to do. Find the faith you are destined to find. And so it is.
I breathe out, I breathe in, I am still, I go within. When I quiet my mind, in the stillness I find. Spirit meets me there. Spirit meets me there.
We end every service with an affirmation and a prayer, so you'd have this affirmation card on your chair. Let's take that and say that together. Together, I choose which thoughts to think and feelings to feel. I am in control of my own mind. So as we take this affirmation, this idea, this day into consciousness, knowing that in this day we have made a sacred commitment to ourselves, to speak no untruth, no unkind word, no gossip for 1 week. that may seem like a tall order, and yet the presence and power of the universe, that which said, "Let there be light," that which said, "I am expressing as you," that which said the entire creative capacity of life is with and for you, has heard that commitment and has said, "Yes, yes, beloved, I am with you in this." And so as we step forward into this week, we know that that presence and power goes with us, that it guides, guards, directs, and protects everything we say, think, feel, and do. And that in every moment of our day, in every opportunity that we have to fall back into gossip, into negativity, that presence and power buoys us up. It comes to us in inspiration from within. It comes to us from things said by other people around us. It comes to us through recognizing the beauty of nature, through the ever-presence of Spirit in all of its forms. And so, in this week, in this commitment to maintaining a high energy, a high-mindedness, a way of being in the world that promotes love and joy and peace and connection and grace, we are uplifted and inspired, and all is well. Knowing this or something greater is guaranteed by that presence and power that birthed the universe, I release it in gratitude, knowing that it is done. Thank you, sweet Spirit, and so it is. Amen. Thank you all for joining us here. We look forward to seeing you next week, 10 o'clock for meditation, 10:30 for service Eastern Standard Time, in line and on the house. Have a fantastic week. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching, and thanks for supporting CSL. If you'd like to know more about us, check us out on our website or social media. Blessings.